when white people specifically introduced like legislation and which would take away right black people's right to vote after right after the abolishment of slavery that would follow from the like some grandfather principle, all right, did this mean that white people were weak individuals?
You're a white privilege.
Oh, white privilege. At least you understand that white privilege exists. I'll give you a gold star for that.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm running. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm just a cracker from Mississippi.
What's the argument here, bro? Also,
Um,
Tashika got a 10-minute ban, yo.
it says, "Why are men superior to women?" That's the argument.
You failed to provide me a reason.
Are you that retarded?
And now we're slurring too. How many continents are there?
Retard is.
You can't even name the continents. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and kick him out because he was slurring. Bro, it's so crazy that people like that even exist, dude. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, it's just so crazy to me like people like that even exist. What's going on? Do you think that men are superior to women, all things considered? Big Daddy? Abby, thank you for the party. Okay, Big Daddy's not here. Oh man, we're gonna move on to our next guest, bro. Dude, like honestly, it takes a lot of self-control to like refrain. It takes a lot of self-control to refrain from getting really angry at like particular guests such as our last. What's up? Do you think that men are superior to women, all things considered?
Yes, I do. I have 3 reasons.
It's kind of embarrassing. Okay.
One
what are the reasons?
is they are physiologically stronger than we are. 2, they are less hormonal and they can make decisions based off of more reasoning instead of more emotion. And 3, most women, not all, but most women base their looks, their everything on the approval of their man.
Okay. So let's talk about this physiological strength. Men base their decision making on logic.
No, physiologically and decision making are different. So which one do you want to hit on first?
Well, let's touch on the decision making. All right, let's touch on the decision
Making
making.
less emotional decisions because their hormones are totally different than ours. They have more testosterone, less estrogen, which makes them more analytical thinking than more emotion-based thinking.
Okay, if men are so analytically thinking and not emotional
More.
based thinking,
More.
meanwhile women would be the opposite, then
Yes.
how come we see more men engaging in statistically, right, analytically irrational behaviors like drunk driving, reckless driving, gambling? We could even get really analytical with it. Short-term investment in the stock market, in the stock market. Women outperform the hell out of men. Let's get even more analytical with it. School academics. Women outperform the hell out of men. Makes no sense. I think like this is nothing more than a very sad stereotype.
that they're, like,
I see you.
smarter
One second.
academically
One
is
last
not
question here.
saying that
One
they-
last question here. I see your profile picture. You look like a medical health professional.
Yes, I
Am
am.
correct? So you understand the importance of academic studies,
Oh yeah, of course.
right? I'll give you your weekly pay right now if you could give me a single academic study that would indicate that women are biologically predispositioned to be more emotional than men.
A study, I could give you hormone levels, testosterone against estrogen. I mean,
You're a
that's
medical health
automatically
professional.
right there.
You're a
Yeah,
medical
but
health
I'm telling
professional.
you right
I want
now.
to see an academic evaluation that would show that these differences in hormonal levels would indicate that women are more emotional than men.
Well,
Then also, if you're a medical health
follow you,
professional,
I
you'd
could
understand
send
that
that to you. I
hormonal
could send that to you.
levels, right, while women would typically have this hormonal change once a month with their periods, right? What is the hormonal cycle of a man, since you're a medical health
They-
professional?
Like they really don't have a hormonal cycle. That's why
It's 24
they,
hours. It's 20.
that's
It's every
why-
24 hours. A man's
like
hormonal
what do you
cycle is
mean?
every
What kind of
24
what
hours.
kind of a hormonal cycle? Like what
Yeah,
hormone
peaks and dips
cycle are you talking about?
and testosterone. Peaks and dips in testosterone.
Yeah, but
Who thought I'd know more than a medical health professional?
what does
Really?
that? No, you don't. What does that have to do with them having less estrogen and progesterone, which makes you more hormonal, which makes you more emotionally thinking?
Yeah, could you give me
What
any
does that
evidence?
have to do with
Could you
it?
give me any evidence
Yeah,
that
oh,
like
yeah.
levels of
Oh
estrogen
yeah,
would
and
indicate
I'll
more emotional thinking?
yeah, and I'll send it to you. Yeah, because it's 100% a fundamental difference between testosterone and progesterone and estrogen.
Okay. What do you say that like suicide, right, is who do you say is more likely to commit self-unaliving? Someone that's like more
Somebody who has a
emotional or someone that's
mental
less
health
emotional?
issue. Somebody who has a mental health issue. I don't think it really depends on if you're male or female. Depends on a mental health issue.
Okay. 82% of self-unalivings are men.
Yeah. So what does that have to do with?
I thought that men were like really analytically and logically
I
driven.
said
What about
more.
what about like
They're less
like
emotionally driven in decision making.
let's look at one else thing here. Purdy, thank you for the here we go. W Purdy in the chat. We could also look at something such as, oh, I don't know, substance abuse. You're a medical health professional. I'm guessing you'd understand that substance abuse is something people do to cope with unprocessed emotions. Yes.
Well, that also
Purdy,
proves
thank you for
my
the hands
point
up.
because women, since we're more emotional,
Thank you so much for the hands up. W Purdy.
we can think of what happens if we become addicted to substances. We can see that happening because we go by our emotions and how we feel. Men don't. Men want the right now. Not all, but in general, they think of the right now. They don't think of the future repercussions. That's why men are the ones that do the things in schools that they do and a woman never has. That's why there's more men, multiple kill, that's why more men do that, because they don't think by emotions like women do.
Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and go over a couple of things here. Listen. I think I just think it's silly to say that women are gonna act upon their emotions, meanwhile men are gonna act on logic, right? When men would dominate in all these irrational
No, I didn't
emotional
say
behaviors.
logic. I
One
said
second, with all due
less
respect,
emotion.
with all these like
Less emotion.
to say that they'd operate with less emotion when
Yeah.
men are much more likely to engage in irrational emotional things, such as like the specific empirics in which I've just denoted. And then just a second thing, real quick. Would you say that you are more or less emotional than the previous guests I've spoken with? Heidi, thank you for the subscription.
No, because I am led by more emotional things, and I would never want to speak that way to anybody.
Would you say you are more or less emotional than the other guests I've spoken with?
What? I'm way more emotional than the other guests.
You are joking! Oh my god! The last guest I had on the live literally said he would unalive me. He would murder me. Bro, listen, I'm not trying to like toot your own horn. I think you're terrible, right? These are terrible beliefs. But unironically, if we compare you to all of the other guests in which we've had on the live, which have happened to all be men, I think we'd come to a very intuitive conclusion on who's more emotional. And once again, there's so much evidence for this, right? Such as violent crimes. Men commit 95% of them. Men are angry. Men are very angry creatures, right? And it's important that we understand this, right? Let's look at another thing. If men are less emotional than women, right? Well, then why is there no evidence to indicate this? Earlier, I asked you if you could give me a single academic study to indicate that your claim is true. There isn't. There does not exist one.
Yes.
Find it right now. Find it right now.
I'm on my phone. Like, you really want me to like put you up in the corner of my phone to look? I can send it to you. I will DM it to you tomorrow. I promise you. But I'm telling you right now, medically speaking, women are way more emotion based just by the fact of our different hormones than men.
Okay.
And that is not always the best. That's not always the best.
So then who's like started all wars and genocides?
Well, men have always been in power for as long as, so of course it's always been men.
Okay. Who commits like virtually all homicides, school shootings, mass shootings, gun-related crimes, arson, kidnapping?
Because they don't have the emotional ability to forethink their actions. Because
I'm just, can you give me any, like, you keep saying that like these differences, right, in the hormonal levels. Ben, with the 30 gifted subs. And Ben in that chat right now. You are absolutely showing so much love today, Ben. Thank you so much. W Ben in that comment section, y'all. W Ben. W fucking Ben in that comment section. Thank you so much, Ben. W Ben, y'all. That's so incredibly kind of you, man. That's so incredibly kind of you. But Alfred, here's where we're at. I think that, like, unfortunately, you've been indoctrinated by traditionalism. You conform to these stereotypes. I hate to see it, right? But what I would love to see is just any evidence from you as a medical health professional that would indicate women are generally more emotional than men. And Heidi, thank you so much for the $10 over Venmo. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you
Heidi.
for
Y'all
the
are
money.
showing so
What
much love
about my
today.
other two? What about my other two that were my? Because you said overall, all things considered.
Oh,
What
yeah.
about the other
Yeah,
things?
how are like men like physiologically stronger? Like would
They
this just be
have
like bone density, muscle mass?
they muscle mass, all of it.
Yeah, what's the most superior species on Earth?
Like in what way?
The same way that
Superior
we'd
in
be
what way?
speaking in the context of men and women, all things considered. Jacqueline, thank you for the elephant trunk. You'd say humanity, right?
Well, yeah.
Is
All
humanity the
human.
physiologically strongest species?
You can't. What do you? That makes no sense.
Yeah, it does.
How,
You gave me two groups, men and women. You said men are superior to women because they're physically stronger.
in a
And we look
few
at then we,
different
then we look at one
overall.
second. Then we look at like
Overall.
other groups like humanity and lions, humanity and gorillas, humanity and great apes.
Oh, you want to bring up
What we
lions?
see
Lions
here
are
is that
very
there's
much
plenty.
superior to
One second, please
lionesses.
don't interrupt me, Madeline. Thank you for the $2 over PayPal. Are
You
you done?
interrupt me a lot. You interrupt. You don't let me finish a point either, so you kind of deserve it. If you take lions, for example, lions are way more. Even though the
Riley, thank you for the
lionesses
crystal
lead the
shoe.
pack, the lions are way superior than the lionesses. If you talk about lions,
Do you mind if I try to give you a point here?
yeah, go ahead.
You're saying that physical strength equates to superiority. However, you'd consider humanity
Yeah.
the most superior species on Earth, yet humanity is not the physically strongest species on Earth.
Yeah, I have no idea where you're even going with that. Like you're
Oh
talking,
my
we're
God,
talking about
cognitive dissonance.
we're talking about men and women. Like if you want to talk about like you want to break down like every species on Earth, like I don't know where you're trying to go with that. Like animals? Is that what you're trying to say?
Cognitive dissonance. I'm going to give you a more intuitively clear example.
Oh,
Maddie,
you
thank
mean
you for the
like how
handouts.
people think? I think yes, human.
I'm going to give you a more intuitively clear example. Who's your favorite who's your favorite president of all time?
I don't have one. I think
Who's
they
your
all
favorite
kind
leader of
of.
all time?
Gosh, I don't know. That's a hard one to answer.
Bro, just name someone you look
I
up to.
have horrible thing. Somebody that I look up to. That's a political figure.
It doesn't need to be I just want to know someone you look up to.
My dad.
Your dad. And who's superior? Your dad or a 17-year-old high school dropout that got emotional damage from a recent breakup, so he, injects steroids 3 times a day and he could bench 450?
Neither. They're both the same. They're both the same.
More cognitive dissonance. We're going to say that this high school dropout is going to be much physically stronger than your dad, so therefore if we were to hold your principle to be true, you'd must consider them superior. However, this is obviously not the case. I have one last question for you. Can you name one leadership structure that exists in the context of society, right, that is purely determined on the basis of physical strength?
Say that. Wait. Say that one more time. You were really fast and you were eating. I couldn't hear.
Name a leadership structure in society. This could be in institutions and government and private public sector, right? Anything, right? Where the leadership of it.
That has nothing to do like strength.
Cody, thank
like
you for the heart me.
power.
One second. Where the leadership of
Bodybuilding.
any of these things is dependent upon their physical strength.
The what is it like the MMA like wrestlers? There you go. There's a group that's all done on strength. If that's where you're going.
Absolutely not. Not even that. Jackie Chan, we'd consider to be one of the best like MMA fighters of all time. He wasn't the strongest.
Jackie
Right?
Chan.
And what we're just
Jackie
what
Chan's like the best MMA. No,
we're just demonstrating here is that physical strength doesn't equate to superiority, like at all, man.
it does when you're comparing two things. When you're comparing to a man and a woman, physical strength is one attribute. I have
So it does
three
when we're comparing
very
two
distinct
things.
attributes.
So we're gonna compare two things: a gorilla and a human. Who's superior?
Well, it depends on if the human has a pew pew. If they don't, then the gorilla's going to jack him up.
So, but earlier you told me that humanity is the most superior species on Earth.
It's superior not in a physical way. They're superior in you were talking about cognitive when I said that.
Oh, you want to
that
talk about
humans-
cognitive function? Sure. Yeah, women are superior to men because they have higher IQs on average.
I would like you to send me the study on that.
Yeah, Princeton, Harvard, they've both done too.
I would like you to send me the study on that.
I'm sure you could just look it up as well if you want.
But because I didn't say anything about smarts, that wasn't one of my threes.
Well, specifically why you told me that humanity was the most superior species on Earth. So unless you're just special pleading, right? It seems like we
Compared
should
to
hold this principle
animals.
consistent.
Compared to animals is what I thought you were referring to.
But you just don't have a fucking argument. This is really sad.
Men and women are the same, we're humans, we're all the same species. So when you say species, I didn't know you were putting men in one category of species and women in another category of species.
Well, and it's called an analogy. So we're just trying to convey a
Well, it was a
concept here.
horrible analogy. It was a horrible analogy.
I just don't think you could abstractly think.
Well, I'm sorry you think that, but I seriously don't think a 2-3 minute conversation you could make that judgment about me off of my opinion.
Dude,
on
you can't
one thing in life.
grasp analogies. You just can't
I'm
abstractly think.
I'm not a dude. I'm not a dude. Thank you though. No,
Wait,
I'm not. I don't.
since you think dudes are superior, wouldn't you see that as like a term of
No,
like,
I'm not a dude. I think
grandeur?
calling me a dude when I'm not a dude.
But
what I was-
wouldn't you like call that like a term of grandeur?
No. We're two different generations. So no.
Come on,
Don't call me.
wait, why? But you're associating being a dude with being a man, and then you'd say that men are superior to women, right? So therefore, you'd view this as like a term of grandeur.
Just because I think they're superior to women, I don't want to be called one.
Bro, listen. Here's the thing.
I'm not a bro either.
I'm gonna be very nice to you. I'm gonna be very nice to you and very.
Well, I would
upfront.
hope so because I'm being very nice to you.
I'm gonna be very nice and very upfront when I say this. So you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and drop the ball. Right. So superiority, as it exists today, as it has always existed, is nothing more than the figment of the imagination of an insecure man. Right. Why do I say this? Because men are driven by their emotions.
Yeah, but how can you say that?
I'm
when
almost
saying
done.
it in a-
I'm almost done. Why do I say this? Men are driven by their emotions, right? And typically speaking, right, when men have a low self-esteem, when men have a low ego, when men have low self-worth, they instead of coping with these things and processing them in a mature manner, right, they project these things on others, right? So what they do, right, is they call themselves superior by projecting this insecurity onto the women around them to relatively increase their own value by decreasing the value of that of a woman, right? And what we see, the fallout of this has been the patriarchy. And what goes along with the patriarchy? Social norms. One of the social norms wrap back around to the main point. Men are superior to women. And what happens when individuals grow up in the context of cultures, societies, or families in which perpetuate these social norms? They're taught these social norms. Right? You've been taught that men are superior to women. I mean, it's internalized misogyny. There's no justification for this. And I just highly suggest that if you have children, you don't teach them the same thing. Right? They don't need to suffer through what you've suffered through. They don't need to grow up thinking that they're inferior to individuals around them because of traits in which they can't control. Rather, it be their gender identity or their biological sex at the end of the day, not one individual, right, should be classifying themselves as inherently lesser in value than another person because of the hole that they pee out of or because of their internal identity. And the fact that you do that and the fact that you think it's acceptable to do that, right, is terrible. I feel bad. I feel terrible for you.
So you muted me through that whole entire thing. You muted me through that whole thing just because you wanted to try to get a point across that I'm in some way. But you muted me through that whole thing, so I couldn't even make even a slight point of what you said.
You're more than welcome to make it all of the points in which you'd like to now.
I think I've already made all my points very clear. And answer me this question. Why do you think women put so much into their looks, put so much into makeup? It's to please men. It's to please men. So, I mean, for you to say it's like misogyny or whatever, no, it's women that let that happen to them because we are the weaker sex. Women let us make a man be our worth. And that's one of the biggest reasons that makes us the weaker sex is for those reasons right there.
Okay. I have a question. Do you have makeup on right now?
No. Or wait, okay. I might have a little bit on. Yeah, I do. I think I have a little bit of eyeshadow left from the day.
Okay. I'm a man. I don't like makeup. Can you please me by taking it off?
You're not the norm. You're not the norm.
Well, can you please me, a man, by taking it
I'm
off?
not saying that it's a man that
Wait,
that it's
Alfred,
telling
yes or
us to
no?
do this.
Alfred, yes or no? Can you please me by taking your makeup off right now?
No, why would I do that?
So you don't wear makeup to please a man because a man just told you you could please him
No.
by taking it off, and you
No, I
specifically
wear
said, "No, I will not please you. Why would I do that?" Thank you for the contradiction, right? So obviously you don't do these things for men because when confronted with a standard in which would please a man, you'd say, "No, I'm not going to meet your standard to please you. Why would I do that?" Self-refuting argument. And then on top of that, right, I think to like some extent, all people, right, take care of themselves and present them in a manner in which would be appealing to those in which they're attracted to, right? We all do this. But women do it more than men. But this isn't something negative that of a woman. This isn't something inferior that of a woman, right? All it means is that women are better at taking care of themselves than men. Maybe men are the ones in which should be associated with inferiority in this context. Maybe men should step up, make themselves a little bit more, make themselves a little bit more presentable, right? Groom better, make themselves, smell better, dress better, look better, right? And in fact, I know this is true because it's typically associated that it's very manly to be unkept. And I've been called homosexual all of my life because I take good care of myself. Like, I am demasculinized because that's what a lot of that's what a lot of people do. They associate being gay with being feminine, right? And people call me gay for taking care of myself. So in other words, they call me feminine for taking care of myself. Dude, holy fuck. Maybe men should just take care of themselves more. Go ahead and respond. Click on your profile picture and click the icon on the mic. Greg, thank you for the marvelous.
I'm not going to keep trying to talk if you keep muting me because you just want to talk and you don't want to listen. The whole reason why yes, women take care of themselves. Yes, we do. But it's because it is ingrained in us that if we don't look beautiful, men will not want us. Men will not see us as attractive. And internally, that makes us feel like we are not beautiful.
Who's that ingrained in you by?
If we don't have a man saying that we look beautiful, we do not feel beautiful.
Who's that ingrained in you by?
By men and by society. And that's the way it is. There's not one woman out there that does not do what they do to feel beautiful to themselves, but more so for men. That's just the way it is.
How do you feel about this, Jashiga?
What was the last thing that you just...
So, on one notion, I think that you're really wrong, right? So you may do it for this reason, but I don't think many. This is why I continue to meet you. I don't think many people do. Have you been looking at the chat the entire time you've been saying this shit?
No.
Samantha says, "I think eye makeup is fun." All right. Let's just see what some of the comments say. Killer says she does it for herself. Someone says, "Girl, who the fuck are we?" Right? Wumbo says, "We disagree with you." Riley says, "I just like makeup." Praise Pizza says, "I do it for the girls." Faith says, "I do it for me." Gay says, "I do it for myself."
Yeah.
So it looks like you're just empirically wrong.
Yeah, so, how do you pronounce your name?
Adrian.
All right. So, Adrian, like, I do my makeup in such a way. And, like, for TikTok, I actually changed the way I do my makeup. But I do my makeup in such a way that people have told me that it makes them afraid of me. That I actually make myself look less approachable. So, how would this be true under your principle? How would I still be doing this for the gaze of men?
Just putting it out there, men can wear makeup too.
This is true.
I think they should.
I think they should.
Personally, oh my god.
Yo, Dean with some fucking mascara, like the brown mascara?
Bro, it looks fire. Are you kidding me? It looks so good.
Looks so good.
Oh, I've done that shit before. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
I love that like mascara and eyeliner is starting to get semi-normalized.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was letting you guys talk.
Yeah. But yeah, like I do my makeup in such a way that like I make myself look unapproachable. And it's actually like one of like the really very real reasons
So then there
why
is
I've been out of a
nothing.
relationship for so long, because every time I do go out, men are actually straight up afraid to
And
approach
you
me.
and you do it all. You do your makeup that way, like for a reason, on purpose, right?
And no, I do it because I like how it looks.
Well, you just said it deters people from you. So it's like, so you
But
do it,
and yet I
still
still
doing it
do
for a
it.
reason.
I still do
You're
it
still doing
because
it for a
I like
reason.
it. I do it because I like it.
Well, yeah,
It
of course, we
deters
all
people
do.
from
Leave it
me,
at a
but I do
mustache.
it because I like it.
Well, that's, of course, we all do things if we like it or if we don't. But we like the attention that we get from it. And
But I don't get
normal,
attention from it.
Somehow,
you
somehow it's
said,
like
or you,
so
or
some
you do the
somehow it's like
opposite. You get
somehow
the
it's like
opposite
totally
attention
wrong.
from it.
Somehow it's like
You get the
totally
opposite.
wrong and
But it's still
inferior.
for a reason.
One second. Totally somehow it's wrong and apparently inferior for women to wear makeup for
I didn't
sex
say
appeal.
it was
Bro,
wrong or
bro, shut the fuck
inferior.
up. Somehow it's like wrong and inferior for women to wear makeup for the sex appeal. But then when men spend 2 to 3 hours, 6 days a week of their life working out, for the sex appeal that's deemed as a positive alpha superior quality. Somehow when men, right, try to get a high paying job, right, simply to buy a fast car for the sex appeal, somehow this is a strong alpha quality.
Yeah,
Well, you
I always
telling
wonder
your
about
woman
that
to shut the
because
fuck up
yeah,
obviously shows that you have a
he
strong
does that to
alpha quality
everyone.
too.
It
Because a
is, it
real
is.
man
I
would
agree.
never talk to a
I'm
woman
so
like
turned
that.
on right now. But yeah, but the thing is like I don't understand though, because like
Okay, I
you would say like this is how like reproduction works, like even just within the animal kingdom in general, right? Both sides are going to do things that are going to attract the other side to it or whoever of which they're attracted to. They're going to do things that are going to attract each other. Thank you, Kate, for the $10 over Venmo. How does that make one inferior to the other if both sides partake in the same type of actions?
That
Boss
was
and
only one of my three.
CEO.
That was only one of my three
She loves you, boss.
reasons
She
why.
loves you.
That was only the small part. My other two were my top three. That one was my third.
I mean, but
Was my third.
Dean went after what you said in those too, and
Oh
for
no,
some
yeah, Dean
reason,
told me to shut the fuck up. He
well,
obviously
just
showed
now he
what
did.
kind of a human he is to be able to be capable of
Well,
telling
because
somebody
you're.
that.
Thank you for
I
the.
didn't say
Thank you for
you guys
the
are
show to my salmon.
you guys are
Thank you so much.
more excited about getting money off of this than actually talking and at cussing
I'm
at people.
sorry.
It's
I'm
so
sorry.
ridiculous.
I'm sorry.
That had nothing to do with the money.
I'm sorry.
That had
It
absolutely
was
nothing to
very
do
much
with it.
about the person
I'm
who did it
sure
and not the
it's
money.
I'm sure it's
And
very
honestly,
great
and I'm
to tell
honestly,
somebody to shut the fuck up.
let's be
That's
so
really
for
great.
real. You're one person. These are people that
Exactly.
come to
That
our.
he's asking for one person's
I'm
opinion
still
at a
speaking.
time.
I'm still speaking.
Oh, I don't
You
care.
are. I'm still
He's asking
speaking.
for one
You
person's
are
opinion
one.
at a
Hey,
time.
my love, my love, my love. I will
This
mute your
is
ass too. Okay.
that's why
So,
that's why I told you to shut up. I do apologize for the vulgarity, but you continue to interrupt and
but
overspeak.
but here's the thing though, right? These are people that come to our lives every day and then give us their hard-earned money, right? For our entertainment and our education. And you are one random ass person that comes on here and probably will never again.
Right.
Right? So sorry if we take time to thank people, right?
I also just want to put it out there. I mean, so you've now shown like disdain at me like telling you to shut the fuck up,
Yeah,
which is
that's
valid.
so
What-
rude and
Alfie,
awful.
please, can I finish? I don't want to mute you again. I really don't. Can we just have like a human conversation here?
Then apologize.
I already did. I said I'm sorry for telling you to shut the fuck up, and I do
Thank
mean
you.
that. Of course, and I do mean that as well. All right. But what I'm getting at here, right, is that this is what you're advocating for. Right? When you hold to these ideals such as men are superior to women, what does this snowball into? Well, good thing we have historical documentation of what it snowballs into. This belief leads to things such as men having the right to vote, women not having the right to vote. This thing leads to
Thank you so
men
much for the
having the
galaxy.
ability to buy and own property and open bank accounts. Meanwhile, the same cannot be said about women. These ideologies lead to women being considered property of men in the context of marriage. These ideologies lead to the domination of the man, right, and submission of the woman. That is the real world ramification of the
Yeah,
ideologies in which you are
okay,
currently
I
advocating for,
get that.
right? And if you are already like showing disdain, right, of a man telling you to shut the fuck up, well, this is what men effectively did to women for generations before us because they thought the same way you do. And if everyone thought the same way you do, this is what men would do now and for generations to come.
No, I totally disagree because if you
can't. You can't disagree. You cannot argue with facts. I'm so sorry. I'm going to make a strong assertion there. You can't disagree. You can't say no. You can't say nuh-uh. This is real. It's very real. All you have to do is open up a history book or ask your grandparents.
I'm also a little bit confused how I'm sorry.
Wait, let me make this point. Don't. Just because I think that men are superior to women, I don't say that it's correct. I don't think it's right. I don't think that it's okay. But in general, you said all things considered, and I'm talking about body-wise, how they think, everything else. That is why you can say that, oh, I would bring women back to I'm not saying it's correct. I'm not saying that, oh, yes, that men are superior, so they should rule the world. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, in general, for those three reasons, I think that men are superior to
women. Who do you think is no, I understand that's not what you're saying, but that's what people are hearing. Like, what do you think? One second, don't interrupt me, dude. I'm giving you respect. I want it back. Thank you. Right? That may not be what you're saying, but that's what people are hearing. Like, absolutely, like anyone who's like listening to this live right now that would agree with you are exactly those types of individuals. Think about it. The man up here prior that held the same position as you was arguing that the women that were sending me money over Venmo stole it from the government or stole it from their husband, right? They were the men that hold the same ideologies as you think that women still shouldn't be able to have the right to vote. The men that hold the same ideologies as you want to tell you to shut the fuck up.
Well, that's whatever. But yeah, I still
whatever. Don't you think that this would create a harmful ideology? Don't you think this is something that we should dismiss in the context of society? Don't you think this is something we should dismantle in the context of society? Why don't you care? You are showing your ignorance right now. And why do I say you're showing your ignorance? Because the only reason you are now in a position to be so ignorant of the reality in which men have domination over women and the reality in which men genuinely consider themselves superior to women and going to put this into like legislation, right? That was ended by the feminists. That was ended by the people that hold the opposing
and
views.
It probably should have
been. Not ended.
Women's place is at home.
By those individuals.
I'm a little bit confused, though.
If a woman's place is at home, then why the fuck are you... So I'm so sorry, Tashika. If a woman's place is at home, then why the fuck are you a medical health professional?
Oh, that's the last place they'd want you to be.
Because the society I live in now, women can't afford to stay at home. I was a stay-at-home for 8 years.
Go ahead, Tashika.
Yeah, so just really quickly, I just think it's really contradictory for you to be upset that Dean told you to shut the fuck up while in the same breath advocating. Wait a minute. And in the same breath advocating for the society in which men can tell you to shut the fuck up and for them to not even have to apologize to you.
Don't put words in my mouth. That never came out of my mouth.
But that's what this kind of ideology leads to.
That's the ideology that you're getting out of what I'm saying. That's your bad, not mine. The way you take what I'm saying is not what I'm saying.
Yeah, but then you're going to need to change up the way that you're speaking here, right? Because that's what people
I made
are
it very clear. I made 3 very clear points. Physiologically, men are superior to women in strength.
Why, if you believe that Dean, but my thing is, if you believe, okay, let's go there, right? If you believe that women are more emotional thinkers, right, and that men are inherently more logical, then logically, Dean was in his right to tell you to shut the fuck up. And then because men are more logical, you ought to have shut the fuck up.
Don't put logical. I didn't say logical. I didn't say they're more logical thinkers. I said they're less emotional thinkers. They don't think by emotion.
So do you believe that like people who think less emotionally have more of like a process to be able more so do you think emotions mess up your logical processes?
Yes. Yes.
Right.
When you
So if
think more with
men
your
hold
emotions,
less
logically, yes.
so if men hold less emotion, right? Dean had less emotion and still told you to shut the fuck up.
No.
Right?
Because he
And so
made my
even
point.
still,
Wait,
my
wait, no,
point
no.
here
He
still
made-
stands.
He made my point. He was mad and angry, and instead of thinking if I tell her to shut the fuck up, it's gonna
But
hurt
you're
her
a
feelings and
woman
make me look
though.
bad.
But
He just did it.
you're a
He
woman
just
though.
said
You're
it.
a woman and you're thinking with your emotions right now. What do you have to stand on? You're a woman. Mm-hmm. What do you have to? You don't know what goes on in a man's brain. He automatically has less emotion than you do. You have more emotion than he does. Why are you making these arguments based off of emotion? You have no standing.
Kate, thank you for the $5 over.
Like you disenfranchise yourself.
No,
You have no
you're wrong.
standing to
you did that.
You have no standing to make this argument that he made this argument from emotion. Because you yourself
putting
can see
your
to the point
narrative.
that he is less emotional than you simply because he is a man.
Yeah, and that's proving my point. That's proving my point.
Okay.
So you're saying that
didn't think
you're
out
saying
what
that
was-
you're saying that the lack of an ability to analytically consider one's actions and the outcomes of them, and instead act irrationally on the basis of anger, would be indicative of a less emotional thinker.
Say that one more time.
So you're saying that a man's lack of ability to analytically think and about their decisions and the long-term impact.
I think he got a phone call.
Probably another Venmo.
Thank you, Miss. No, it doesn't show up like that. Thank you, Miss Me with it for the $6.66. W gays. I don't see what was so funny. Venmos don't stop your entire life. So, it's a phone call. But either way, I'm a little bit confused as to why you can't respond to my argument here.
So, say it again, because I couldn't hear
Yeah,
you.
because if you believe that men are inherently less emotional, right? And if you're less emotional, then what does that leave you? More logical, right? Unless you believe that men are like mindless drones, then Dean telling you to shut the fuck up is inherently more validated. And the fact that you even have a rebuttal to it, right, would be in contradiction to your overall views here. Because if you as a woman are more emotional than him, then why are you being emotional, right? It was logical for him to tell you to shut the fuck up. It hurt your your feelings, your feelings.
Yeah, my feelings.
Your feelings. Like no, right?
Because I'm a woman, I'm more emotional than a man.
But he's superior to you. So why should your feelings fucking matter?
That's not what it means.
If he is superior, I'm a little bit confused.
That's not what that's not what the
How are we
argument
defining this
argument
word?
is.
How are we defining this word then?
I'm talking about men are more superior to women as a whole entire thing. As a whole entire thing. I'm not saying men should rule the world, that men are better than women, that women should have no say and men should have all the say. I'm just saying on a few different bases, men are superior to women.
Can I hop in here? Mm-hmm. First of all, sorry for going on pause. I got a call from a friend that's driving over some snowy mountains, and they told me that they'd only call me if they got into a car crash. But it turns out that they didn't get into a car crash, so I hopped through that real quick. Anywho,
me.
So Alfie, Tashika's fucking dragging you. Right, with your own argument.
No, not really.
No, but I don't really I don't want to. I don't. Can you compose yourself?
Can you?
He's been really fucking
dragging
nice to
me?
you.
There's no been
really
dragging me. You haven't deterred one of my points at all.
I'm gonna
except
put
for
you on
going off in some weird off the whole wall decision.
Hey, Alfred,
Of saying what I'm saying.
I'm gonna put you on mute if you interrupt me again.
Okay.
Please don't. All right. I don't want to continue to watch that. Dude, holy fuck! Seeing that used against you is wild. I don't really want to continue to listen to it. Obviously, this conversation's not going anywhere. You haven't made any points. I think if there was a final point in which you could make, right, it would just be giving absolutely any evidence of the claim that women are more emotional than men. Because this has been the foundation of your argument since you first came up here about 20, 30 minutes ago, and you haven't provided any evidence for this. We've just simply assumed it to be true and debated with it, right? Or given evidence otherwise. But we would now like you to provide...
assumes it to be true.
Can you provide to us some medical evidence?
Do you want me to like what? Send you a blood test of a difference between a man and a woman?
We
How does that make
understand.
one superior?
You wait one
When it
second.
comes to
We
hormones.
understand that males and females have different hormones at different
Yes,
levels.
and that gives us different thinking, how we think in different ways.
And that's what I'm asking for. I would like you to provide a study that would evaluate the hormonal levels of males and the hormonal levels of females that would indicate that these hormones would influence females to act in a manner in which is more emotional than males. I'd like that evidence.
Have you ever been around a woman that has PMS? Have you
Okay,
ever been a woman
so-
that's had a baby?
this is-
you
so
cannot
without-
say you need a study to show that women have more hormones that make them more emotional. Have you ever had? Have you ever had a woman in your life, your mother? I'm sure
So
you've
now
seen
this
your
is
mother
no
go
longer.
through
So-
Now this
so-
is no longer about evidence. Got it.
Yeah, and what we're
It's no
forgetting
longer
here
about evidence.
is
Okay, if you think that
you're interrupting me again. You're talking about females when they're on their period. You're talking about females when they have a baby. You're talking about like these certain times when some individuals could be at heightened levels of emotions, right? And I would say, like, relatively speaking, right, this sometimes is true, right? But even when we take that heightened level of emotion, relatively speaking, from a baseline when these other things are not occurring, and compare it to that average of a man, I still think there'd be a considerable gap. Men don't have a period, but men still break holes through walls. Men don't have a period, but they still light their house on fire and unalive them and their kids because their ex-wife wants them back in a custody battle. Men don't have periods, but they still commit 95% of violent crimes, ranging from homicide, school shootings, mass shootings, terrorism, cyberbullying, arson, kidnapping, etc. Men don't have periods, but that when they want to have a fun time, they hop in their car, drive drunk, and kill a family of 5. Men don't have periods, but their insurance rates are 3 to 4 times that of a woman because of the reckless driving, in which is, commonly observed in the context of men, right? I mean, come on. Men don't have periods, but somehow, right, they can't outperform women in the context of school, can't outperform women in the context of graduating from school, can't outperform women in the context of STEM-related fields, can't outperform women in the context of medical-related fields. So, if anything, right, I don't think there is a comparison to even be made here.
Okay. Well, that's your opinion, and I have mine.
It's not a fucking opinion. These are.
And also I would like to just put it out there for everyone. I like specifically for like Dakota, something that I just saw in chat. When I say men don't have periods, like we are. When I say men, I mean to say male. I just interpret these words. I'm just using the interpretation of the guest. Like in all reality, right?
Using the interpretation of the
like trans ID is 110% valid. Or just using the interpretation of like the guest and what they would infer a man or a woman to be. I just want to put that out there. It's much easier, right, to just understand their interpretations and use their interpretations, unless we're on like a topic relating to like trans individuals. But anyways, go on pause real quick. Leave the TikTok app. I'll fry.
Dean, do you want to do battles? You want to do a fucking rematch?
I'd be down to do some battles. I'm having fun right now, though.
Yeah, no.
You got to echo. You need to leave the TikTok app. You need to
my
leave the
goodness.
TikTok app. If you don't leave, I'm just going to move on to the next guest. Leave the TikTok app, then
Thank
go back into it.
you. STFU.
We're
Yeah,
just not going to do it. We're just going to move on to our next guest.
I've definitely been more. I hate this time of the month. Wow, English is hard. I hate this time of the month because I definitely have been more irritable.
I mean, yeah, I'd probably be more irritable, too, if I was in physical pain. Hello? I don't know why like people like stigmatize that. Holy fuck.
Yeah, my stomach hurt.
Let's go ahead and see what our next guest has to. Let's see what our next guest has to say, y'all. If we are in those guest requests, make sure that we would hold to this idea that men are superior to women, all things considered. Right? Let's go ahead and see what our next guest has to say, y'all. Guys, if you are enjoying the content, also make sure to hit that follow button. Our brawl's not loading in. We're going to move on to our next guest, y'all. Let's go ahead and see what Nora has to say, everyone. Make sure that we do disagree if we are in the guest requests, ladies and gentlemen. Bro, no one is loading in.
It's me. It's all my fault.
I don't know why no one's loaded in. Guys, just be patient. Give us a minute here.
Yeah, give us a minute. How many do we have? Like 7 in here? Y'all. Oh, there we go. Good.
Dean should try that cramp simulator. Fuck no.
Oh.
Nope, absolutely not. I am good. Hey, what's up? Do you think that men are superior to women, all things considered? Okay, they're not even.
She's
here.
asleep. She's sleeping.
I am good, chat. Listen. I
would
am good.
pay to see that. I would.
I am all right.
I've never seen a man do that and then come out the same.
I am all right without it, ladies and
Changed
gentlemen.
men. She was about to start snoring for real. She was knocked out.
Bro, I don't know why literally no one's loading in.
She was about to hit that.
Someone said, Dean, do it for Women's History Month. That is wild. That is wild. Love you much truly. Maddie, thank you so much for swinging by.
Is it the
I hope
Wi-Fi?
I hope that you have a good rest of your day, Manny. Thank you so much for swinging by and hanging out, watching the debates. We love you. I always feel.
I love you. Love you. Is it the Wi-Fi? Check your Wi-Fi, dude.
Nah, it wouldn't be my Wi-Fi. I mean, because you could hear me all right.
This is true. Didn't got that budget Wi-Fi.
Oh, we're just gonna start like letting multiple people up. This is crazy.
Dean's been chipping away at them AOL DVDs.
Hey, how old are you?
28.
What year were you born in?
1996.
Do you think that men are superior to women, all things considered?
Yeah, I think women are superior because...
Wait, that doesn't make any sense. You couldn't be 28 born in 96.
Are you good at math?
Never mind. You can't be 28 and be born in 1996. Why do you think that men are superior to women, all things considered?
Women are superior to men.
Oh, okay, why do you think women are superior to men?
Because you guys came from us.
Wait. Wait.
Okay. Would you say that Christians are justified in assuming that men are superior to women due to the fact that
I don't
according
know
to the
all
Christian...
that. I don't know all that.
No, wait, what?
I'm too drunk for this, dude.
All right. Well, I was just gonna ask them would Christians be reasonably justified in assuming male superiority due to the creationism narrative in the context of the Bible? Hey, what's up? Do you think that men are superior to women, all things considered? Bro, I have no clue what the fuck they're doing.
Can you please not scream like that? It hurts people's ears. Turn down your fucking phone.
What's up, Noah? Do you think that men are superior to women, all things considered?
I wanted to ask if you were single, baby ball.
I am, but you'll never find yourself in communion with me.
Okay, thank you.
Bye. Not a chance.
It was sweet. Yes, so respectfully.
I don't give a fuck.
Damn straight. Purr.
Don't ever say purr. Purr.
Purr.
Purr.
Hey, what's up? Do you think that men are superior to women, all things considered? Brother. What the fuck? Get out of here, man. Bro,
People wear earbuds? Turn me down.
Well, see, if they turn you down, then they also turn me down, and I'm kind of quiet.
Turn your ass up, Dean.
I can't. It's up all the way.
Wow. How much was that? I'm joking.
Well, it's just because of the phone, you know? Maybe if I got an amplifier, that would work. Dude, literally no one's loading in. This is ridiculous. It's very awesome.
Airman? I'm scared of him.
Hello, Matic. Oh my god, the first guest.
Hello?
And you have an echo. No, thank you. Yeah, we are running out of guest requests, everyone.
It's my fault.
It's not your fault.
My fault, OG.
Someone in the chat says you legitimately hurt my ears. They are pulsating.
Damn, that's crazy. I've been making everything pulsate. Am I right? I'm not turning it down. Fucking cry.
Well, the mic you happen to have is very loud.
It's very loud.
I have this same mic. I could pull it out and show you how loud it is.
That's why I love it.
Yeah,
I just want to say you're amazing.
Oh yeah, this is the HyperX.
Thank you so much.
My
Appreciate
old
it.
one is the same one that you have.
Oh yeah, and those ones
Yeah.
are loud.
Yeah.
Bro, dude, literally no one's loading in. We've just been sitting here running through the guest requests. This is pretty
Never
annoying.
change. On it. Well, no, this is the one that Parker has.
Yeah, yeah. I personally, I went all out on my mic. Went all out on this bad boy. This is like a studio professional, like podcast shit.
Yeah.
Bro, I don't know what's going on. I really don't.
bad.
Yeah, there's no one. Hello, do you think that men are superior to women? All things.
Alfie, get the fuck out. Oh my gosh.
Hello, 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 hello. They're not even loading on now, so.
I feel like, is it... Hold up. Can't be. Like, at some point it has to be... I don't know how that could happen.
Hey, baby Bob.
What?
Are you sure? I couldn't,
Very, very sure.
that shot.
I could not be more sure. I just genuinely. Matter of fact, no, bring it back up. Come back.
Hi, Missy. Do you think that men are superior to women, all things considered?
So I'm going to, as a past Christian, I've got a kind of theory based off of a question you brought up earlier.
Real quick, Missy. Do you think that men are superior to women?
Oh, hell no. Sorry.
All right. That's what I assumed. We were just looking to talk to people that do. But feel free,
I know.
like, if you have a theory, feel free to drop it in the Discord. I saw that you're a team member. I appreciate you, Missy. That'd be Missy in that chat.
Bring him back up. Hey, Noah.
Hello?
How tall are you?
6'2".
Good, good. Let me see something.
So,
Yeah, no, ick, immediately. What the fuck was that? Get out. Get the fuck out. Thank you. What the fuck was that laugh? That milady ass laugh. What the fuck? Discord mod ass laugh. Anyway.
Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
what's going on? Do you think that men are superior to women, all things considered?
Yes, I believe it, but like
Okay,
not
why?
100%. But first of all, I want to say I'm from Ethiopia, so my English is not very good. I speak 4 other languages.
Honestly, your English sounds pretty good.
Yeah, thank you. I also speak French. If you want me to speak a little bit of French, I can speak. It's
Girl, we don't speak French.
okay.
I wish I was that cool.
know,
So
right?
why do you think that men are superior to women, all things considered?
So you're superior to me right now.
Well, I think for many reasons. Personally, in my culture, we believe that the man is he's the protector and the provider. He protecting the community. He is the leader of the community. Like women cannot.
Yeah. Why do you think that a man would make a better leader than a woman? What specific like traits or attributes do men possess that women don't possess that cause men to be better leaders?
Well, it's because they are far more logical, I think. Women, like, they are very emotional. Like I like, is my like personal opinion. I think
Can you
women
give me any evidence to indicate that your opinion is correct?
is based on observation, things that I have seen.
Observation of what?
The women around me, I'm a woman also. I know, like, I know women are very emotional. They cry all the
Are women emotional or no? Because what you're just describing here is expression of emotions, not just the emotions themselves. So are women more emotionally expressive or are women more emotional? Because those are two different things.
Are women more emotional, did you say?
Are women more emotional or are women more emotionally expressive? Because those are two different things.
Well, it's the same thing. You are being
It's
emotional.
not the same thing.
I think so, because men, let me tell you something about men,
Hi,
okay?
Jesse.
Because men, let me tell you something about my father, okay? I have never seen him cry. He has always been very hardworking. He'd always made
It's the
very
very same thing for my dad as well.
Yeah, so of course, then you are proving my point. Men are very logical. They don't express themselves emotionally in the way that a woman will.
No.
And so, of course, that makes him, like, in a position to lead a community, a household, and everything else. Whereas a woman cannot lead because she'll allow her emotional to take over.
I'm
her emotional.
sorry.
And it could lead to the corruption of that home. Like, I believe personally.
Self-hating women just get me off in a different way.
Yeah. So is anger an emotion?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay. So then men are very emotional. Have you ever seen a man get angry before?
Because men have a lot of burden in this world. That's why they get.
Have you ever seen a man get angry before?
Yes, I have, but men have a lot of
Really?
burden to take on, a lot of responsibility, so they have to find an outlet, They
Oh
cannot,
my god. Oh my god.
you can't expect a man.
Dude, no way you've indoctrinated yourself this far. Men
Wow.
have burden and responsibility. Therefore, they must possess this outlet of taking their anger out on women. Are you you are so brainwashed. I am
It's not
so
brainwash.
sorry.
I'm sorry,
And
but
one second. Right? And the reason that I say this is because men are very emotional. They commit like all crimes, right? Disproportionately so much more than women do. It's insane. But let's just go through a couple things here. Who do you think would be more likely to self-unalive? Someone that's really logical, or someone that's really emotional?
that is what an alive. What do you
Suicide.
mean?
So would you say the fact that like suicide? Would you
Okay.
say the fact that like women self-unalive much more than men? This is obviously indicative of women being more emotional than men.
And women attempt suicide more, but they don't actually go ahead with it, which goes on to show you that they are very emotional.
This is not the question that I asked you.
But of course, men committed more. We know that, but women attempted more. Do you agree with that?
I haven't seen any statistics on this now.
Yeah, well, you should look at it. The
Yeah,
women
do you have a source by chance?
No, I don't have anything with me right now, but I thought this was common logic. Women attempted more, but they don't go ahead with it.
Dude.
Yeah.
So yeah, would you say that like abusing hard drugs, would this be indicative of someone who's logical or someone that's emotional?
It's logical, I think, to me personally.
To abuse hard drugs, this is a very logical
Yeah,
thing
because
to
you
do.
are like have a lot of emotional, like you have like a lot of responsibility, a lot of burden. So sometimes you have to find an outlet. You cannot cry, so you have to find an
So you've
outlet.
got to
and sometimes-
abuse hard. Would you say that like emotional, like violent crimes, like homicides, kidnapping, and arson?
You are bringing the
are these
extreme
Are these
cases.
in? Okay, we
Just-
could talk
just really
about,
quickly,
We
just
could talk
really
about any
quickly.
crimes. Go ahead,
Just re-
Tashika.
Just really quickly, Dane. Yeah, no, it is true that women typically do attempt suicide more often. The fundamental difference, though, is that the men die more from suicide. Simply because when women attempt to unalive, they tend to do it in less lethal ways. But because men are socialized to be more violent, men tend to try to unalive themselves in more lethal ways, like let's say like via like pew-pews or like hangings, right? Things that are more likely to guarantee death. That is why.
All right. Then also, if you do it once and it works, you don't get the opportunity to try it again and become another statistic. No, Ariane, thank you for the hand arts. But yeah, so would you say that like committing violent crimes is going to be indicative of someone who's emotional or someone who's logical?
Yeah, well, of course, we are talking about extreme cases. Like, do you think all men are committing violent crimes? No, of course not. The majority of men are good men. The majority
Do you
of
think
men.
that all women are attempting to commit suicide? You use this as evidence for this idea that women are more emotional than men.
No, of course not.
Okay,
We
so
are
then
talking-
why are you holding this double standard? What we could do is we could look at like certain like facts of reality and evaluate them to come to like conclusions through correlations. So who do you think would be more likely to commit any crime? Someone that's emotional or someone that's logical?
Okay, my brother Dean, I think you are like
Jesse, thank you for the 8-month sub. I appreciate you,
keep
man.
using like extreme cases. Like I know
Crimes
that
are
the
is an
people-
extreme case.
I don't understand. What the fuck is an extreme case? What does this
Yeah.
mean?
He's saying violent
Bro,
crime. You know,
dude, hey, who do you think would be more likely to commit a crime? Someone that is emotional or someone
What
that is
kind of crime? Are
logical?
we talking about littering? Women are more likely to litter than men.
Literally any crime, man.
Well, it depends of the crime. Like, okay, let me give you a
Okay,
clue.
violent crime specifically. Yeah, who do you think would be
Okay,
more
well,
likely to
okay,
commit a violent
abuse
crime?
against children. Women are more likely to commit abuse against children.
That's actually not true. No.
Demonstrably false.
FBI and CIA crime statistics would violently disagree.
Demonstrably false.
And I'm gonna have you answer my question. Who is more likely to commit a violent crime?
Well, of
Someone that
course,
is
I keep
emotional or someone
answering.
that is logical?
Okay, can I answer the question? Can you give me?
Please.
I keep telling you the answer is, of course, men. But let
I
me tell you
didn't.
something.
That wasn't one of the answer. That was not one of the like. Okay.
You said who's more likely to
I'm
commit
giving
a
you. I'm
violent
giving you
crime?
two answers. Who's more likely to commit a violent crime? Someone that's emotional or someone that's illogical?
Well, of course, you have to be very emotional to commit a violent crime. You're not a very logical person. But
Yeah,
okay,
and
let
commit
me finish
90%
now.
of them. Who do
Okay.
you think would be more likely to perform well in school? Someone that's emotional or someone that's logical?
It has to be a mixture of both. You know, you need your emotions as well as your,
Would
you
you
know.
say that we would see a positive correlation between one's logical ability and one's grades?
Yes, of course, for you to perform really well in school.
Okay,
But
so
let me.
we'd see a positive correlation. We'd see that women get higher grades than men, and if there were to exist a positive correlation between logical ability and getting higher grades, well, then we typically associate women with having a higher level of logical ability in comparison to men, right? Who do you think would be more likely to drunk drive, reckless drive, or gamble? Someone that's very logical or someone that's less logical?
You keep bringing up these questions. Like, okay, let me answer the question now. Okay, let me answer the question. You keep asking me who's more likely to commit a violent crime, who's more likely to abuse hard drugs. We know the answer is men, but are you telling me 98% of men are abusing, you know, hard drugs? They are committing violent crimes? No, the majority of men.
They didn't say. He didn't say that.
But I'm telling you, the majority of men are hardworking. The majority of men, they are, you know, they are law-abiding citizens. They are productive members of society. They are in school. They are at home. They are.
Can you give me one academic study that would denote women are biologically predispositioned to be more emotional than men?
You keep like talking about this. I'm telling you, it. And
Great.
another.
Thank you for the extension for the 6-month sub. I appreciate
So you
you.
said
I
earlier.
want facts. Hey, I want facts. Give me the
Hang on a
facts.
second. But you said earlier that
Give me
women
the
do better
academic
in
study.
school than
I don't
men.
get how you can special plead to the overall population of these
No,
men.
but
but you
listen,
can't
you
do it for
said
women.
that women do better in school than men. This is right in the West because the school
In the
is
West.
feminized. It is feminized in the West.
It's
If you
right
look
in
at-
the West because women can go to school in the West. I don't know what to tell
No, no,
you.
no. The education system is feminized in the West because it gears towards women. It's not.
Yeah, would you
not
have any
geared
evidence of
towards
this?
Well, I know because look at the men. You have brown, you have purple hair. You know, the men, they are speaking like a woman. So I know that you guys are all feminized in the West. I'm so sorry to say.
What does it mean to be feminized?
Yeah, you are not okay in the head. Like, you know, like you are emasculated. You know, you are sitting here.
Would you say that I'm
defending-
emasculated?
Very much
Purple
so.
hair equals
Very much so.
emasculated. You're so funny.
Okay, you say
Because
that
you
I'm
are
emasculated.
defending men, you are defending women against your own kind. How? Look at you.
So I'm gonna be quite frank with
Wait,
you.
you're doing the same thing.
Well, should you not be defending men? Who defends
Go
men?
ahead.
Yeah, if you're saying that I am emasculated because I advocate for like equality, right? You're inherently associating inequalities, all right, with masculinization, and that's the big problem. You're saying because I'm up here being fair and reasonable, right? It is not of a man's nature to be fair and reasonable. You're saying since I hold myself to logic, reason, and fact, that it is therefore not of a man's nature, right, to express logic, reason, and fact. Covey, re-request! No! No, re-request! No, re-request! Re-request! Right? And these are gonna be the big problems. But honestly, I want my friend Athena. I want my friend Athena. to
Oh
talk
my
to you.
god.
Hi, Athena.
Hi,
God,
hi.
you're a superhero.
Yeah, no, I was listening to what you said. What's your name, by the way? The one with the watermelon?
Sabrina.
Sabrina. Where are
Yeah.
you from, Sabrina?
Ethiopia.
Girl, Habasha?
Yeah.
Me too.
No, you are not.
I'm
Okay.
Eritrean.
Yeah,
Tigrinya.
but you support this man. How can you be
So
Habashi?
I'm Tigrinya. Dinanish, Dimnanish?
You Tigrini?
Tigrinya wa.
Yeah.
تقدرين
But why?
بتراويتي.
But why you support this man who is against women, the man who is like advocating for, you know, like he's saying that men are violent, men are like abusing hard drugs. Why you? This is your friend. This is not a good man.
So it is statistics though. That's the issue. Like when we look at statistics, a majority of crime is unfortunately done by men, committed by men. Majority of those things that he was mentioning is by men. So this ultimately recognizing that there is a problem isn't being against men, it's trying to help men at the end of the day. Because if men are the ones who are committing a majority of the crime, if men are the ones who are unaliving themselves the most, if men are the ones who are having mental health issues the most, if men are the ones who are abusing drugs the most, don't you think it would be important to recognize the issue in order to help it? To help men as well?
Yeah, I agree, but like you are like he's dehumanizing the men, you know? Like I don't believe that men should be dehumanized. You can, you know, you can look for solutions, but you cannot say men are the abusers, men are like violent criminals, men is not good. You know, like you are making women hate men, you are making women become feminist, you know, and when women become feminist, they don't want to have children, they don't want to become wives, and it's not good.
So I'm a bit confused. How does recognizing these issues that men have, because violence, when you look at it statistically, is largely a male issue. Because a majority of the people who do commit violence are men. So my question is, how is it dehumanizing to men to recognize that and to solve it?
Because he's saying that on a big platform. This is the second time I've seen this live. I saw it, I think, today. He's saying that are men superior to women. And I think to myself, okay, maybe he's joking. Then I come here, and then again, he's doing the same thing. Then I said to myself, maybe he wants to get the reaction out of people. And when I came here, I was listening to him talking. He's talking a lot of nonsense, you know? So I think you can do it on a smaller platform where there is not thousands of people watching you, commenting. All of the women here, they are feminist. All of the men here, they hate other men. A lot of, you know, the people from the rainbow community here. So I don't think I feel very safe here personally.
Oh my God.
So I am personally a feminist and I don't hate men. I don't think feminism is about hating men. Feminism is about achieving equality,
Dakota, thank you for the gifted sub.
Equity, right? So just because you're a feminist, it doesn't mean you hate men. Just because you're a feminist doesn't mean you have children. Feminism is about facilitating an environment for women to be free and to make the best choices for themselves as well, whether that is to have children, whether that is not to have children. You can like basically do whatever you want, do what's best for you. So feminism isn't necessarily about hating men. There's actually a subsect of feminism, or there's womanism, which is all about helping men. When you read Bell Hooks' works, she wrote a book called The Will to Change, which is geared specifically towards men and how society harms men as well and trying to help men. So I don't necessarily think that feminists and womanists hate men. They just hate society and
Also,
how
just-
society has affected men and women.
Just to put it out there, I'm a man and I'm a feminist, right? And I love myself, right? I'm very proud of my masculinity. I think my masculinity is good, right? But what I don't like, right, is how other men, other people with masculinity have twisted their masculinity into something bad, right? It has nothing to do with someone's gender. It has nothing to do with someone's sex. It all has to do with their beliefs and their ideologies. And those are completely separate from a gender. Those are completely separate from a sex. But in the context of society, the patriarchy, they become very intertwined. But we could still make that distinction.
So Sabrina, I wanted to ask you a question. Do you think that men are superior to women?
Yeah, of course. Do you not?
No.
So you think that superior to men?
What did you say? What was your question?
You think that women are the one who are superior?
No, I don't. I
Superiority
don't think
doesn't exist.
anybody. Yeah, I don't think anybody is superior. I believe that we are equal.
But it's not possible. How can you be equal to a man? It's
Wait,
crazy.
so I'm of Eritrean descent, and when Dergi was happening, the civil war was happening, about 30 to 40% of the Eritrean army were actually women. So women were going into war, were drafted actively into war. I mean, I had some aunts as well, who actively fought in the civil war, and were a part of Dergi. So I'm a bit confused as to why the women who fought in the civil war for independence wouldn't be equal to the men who fought side by side with them.
Yeah, but that is like a rare example. Most of us are not soldiers. We're not fighting in the army. Most of us,
I'm
we
not
are.
a soldier. I'm not fighting in the army, yet you consider
Yeah,
me
most men
superior
are
to
not
you.
soldiers
I
as
can
well.
tell that, Dean. No offense, I can tell. But I'm saying most of us women are not.
How can you tell that?
I can tell. I'm sorry to say, but
You're not covered in dirt and mud.
Yeah, but no
If
offense.
it's about physicalities, I mean,
You look like you are strong, but I don't think that you can.
I compete with like state records for like body weight lifts.
Okay, but ultimately, I just want to say that personally,
Mhm.
I will continue to pass on tradition. I have a 3-year-old daughter, and I will continue to pass on traditions to her. I will continue to tell her the importance of having a man in their household, and and we personally, I don't see anything wrong with the patriarchy. I love it. I adopt it. My husband implements it.
Can't save them all.
Yeah, but so I think there is nothing wrong with even having a system of hierarchy in the household. The husband is the top, the children next, and then the mom is at the bottom of the hierarchy because the
Dude, do you
children.
think that women should have the right to vote?
No, of course not. Why? For what?
Do you think FGM is a positive thing because there are a lot of cases of FGM in East Africa?
No, I don't think so. No, I disagree with that. But
Isn't that a result of the patriarchy as well and those hierarchies that were implemented within society, where you have a society of men saying that if women don't have FGM done, that they're going to be promiscuous?
yeah, but it's that one is like is long gone. It's no longer accepted anymore.
No, it's not.
It still exists. It still
FGM
exists.
is not long gone. I mean,
How do you know? You are in the West. You don't know. I live here, so you don't know.
No, it's not long gone because of my whole family. And also, like, my sister literally lives in Ethiopia, in Addis Ababa.
Well, my daughter is not going through it. Most of us, we don't accept
Well, of
it
course,
anymore.
mean
yes, your
shit.
daughter is not going to go through it. But what my
You say you
point
are
is,
shit? What do you say, baby Bob? You say
So it
I'm
doesn't
shit?
mean. So it doesn't mean shit.
Do you think that women should be able to go to school, Sabrina?
For like up to like until they are high school, yeah. But further education, it corrupts the mind of the woman personally. So I don't think like. What is that? What is that?
who's playing music? Is that?
Tashika.
Oh, okay. No.
What is this? What is this ghost music that you keep putting on?
So if your Sabrina, if your husband told you that he wanted you to be educated, would you then go to get education done?
I have to obey him, yeah. If he wants me to go for it, I will do it. But I don't think he will say that. He doesn't want it.
Do you think that sexual assault can exist in like a married couple? Can, like a wife get like raped?
A husband doing to the wife?
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. The Western is like so corrupt. Like, how can you believe that husband can do that to his wife? Like,
So I think.
how can you? What's the point of the man marrying you if you saying that you are claiming as the sexual assault? If it's not make sense. You are the wife. There is a reason why the man married you. You're not just there for fun.
Do you
are
agree with
there-
arranged marriages?
Of course, yes.
Wait, hold on. If let's say after you
Women
had
just have no rights,
a
huh?
child, let's say after you had a child, you're not in the mood anymore because your body is tired after you had a child, and your husband forces you to still like sleep with him, like SA, would you still consider that consensual?
Well, there is no such thing as force when it comes to marriage. If he wants it, he can. Of course, he paid for.
Even when it comes to
Wait,
detriment
hold
to
on.
your body.
He paid for what? Can you
I'm
please
sorry.
continue, Sabrina?
He paid dowry, and he is allowed to, like I'm not saying like no good man he's forcing his wife, But if he wants it, of course, there is no reason as a wife.
A dowry.
تقدرين يرد أكيديو ولا أم حرينا؟
I don't speak Amharinya.
What language do you speak?
Do you speak Kiswahili?
So no. Wait, what ethnicity are you? What tribe are you from? Beher?
I don't want to disclose that here.
Okay. So you're not Amhara. Okay.
Yeah, but it doesn't all this, it doesn't, I don't think it takes away from my point ultimately. If you are under a covenant, if you are under a marriage institution, like there is no purpose for you to, like there is no reason for you to say no. Like there is no reason, like it's not that a good man is going to abuse you. I'm talking about a good man. Of course, if you're talking about the evils, yes, but a good man, he's not going to.
Okay, a bad man can essay you though, in marriage.
I don't know. Maybe.
What would make it SA if it's a bad man?
Yeah.
I don't know these kind of questions. I've never been.
Maybe you should learn from the Westerners, huh?
No, thank you.
So I wanted to say one thing. I feel like there's this misconception that feminism is only a Western thing, when in fact, like, feminism is very much alive in the global South. African feminism exists as well. There are very, very prominent feminist movements in Africa. I mean, even when Kwame Nkrumah was gaining independence during the 1950s, the reason as to why he found success gaining independence from the British is because he also worked with grassroots feminist organizations in Ghana. So feminist movements are very much alive and well on the African continent, but also not there. I've been to East Asia, and feminism is also alive and well there. It's not only a Western concept. I think like people need to understand that it's not only a Western concept.
Yeah, I don't know, but I still believe it. I don't think there's any use for feminism in the East. I don't think feminism in the East Africa, in Africa in general. I think, we see what feminism has done to the West. The men, they are walking around with purses, with red.
Nemo, thank you. Oh, transphobia and homophobia. Thank you so much, Nemo, for the $6.60.
A man is fighting to go into the women's bathroom because he's suddenly now a man. He go from Bob to Barbara. So I don't think we need, personally, feminism. I think we can take that corrupted mindset out of Africa. Thank you. But I have been here for a while. I think you should bring other guests up.
May I ask you, would it be okay with you if I asked you how old you are, Sabrina? Are you, or you could just kind of tell me, are you in your 20s or your 30s or your 40s?
I am in my early 30s.
So you're still very young. Okay.
I just wanted
Well,
to
I'm
ask.
not young. I am a little older. I'm very.
I mean, 30s is still young.
Yeah.
It's still very young.
I wanted to ask a question, Sabrina, before you take off. So Pew Research is a massive institution that like polls people and studies attitudes all over the globe, and they have forever. And when we're talking about like the happiness index, like how happy people are in different places, we could even separate this on the basis of gender. Let's just look at women. All right, women report some of the lowest happiness rates in countries that would adopt such traditionalist norms. Right? Like you understand that like the norms in which you uphold to be fact of reality make people suffer, right? And this is quantifiable and we have quantified it. If they make people suffer, if they reduce qualities of life, if
Thank
they
you so much for the
result
galaxy.
in rights, liberties, and freedoms of individuals being taken, why would we say that these are good things?
I don't know. I think you're reading a script from the West. In here, everyone is happy. I don't see any woman complaining about unhappiness.
Are they allowed to complain?
What do you mean? Why
Okay.
not?
I'm sorry.
That's not that.
We are
See,
happy in the way that we are. We function well in society, in under the patriarchy and under the system of hierarchy, where of course our leaders are the top, and they govern our actions and what we do and how we conduct ourselves as women. And I believe, as a woman, if you don't conform to the to what our leaders, our men, have advised us, then I don't think you deserve protection anymore. You know, as a woman.
Why do you think I'd make a better leader than you?
Because you, in this context, I don't know about you, but men in general, they are far better than women in other ways.
Wait, you don't know? Wait, yeah, wouldn't you let all of the men from the West lead you?
In the West?
Yeah, because they're men, right?
In the West, but you are a feminist as a man.
Wait, I'm a man. I'm superior to you, yes?
But why must you lead me? You are not my husband. You are not my father. So why?
Are men from the West, from Western society, superior to you?
Personally,
Jake and Kayla, thank you for the subscription.
I don't think a white man is superior to me. Personally, no.
So
That's where you draw the line? I'm sorry.
Cody, thank you for the 4-month subscription. I appreciate that. So are you a race realist? Do you think that like different races of individuals would have like different like biological traits and which would predispose them to act in certain ways?
No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that just because you are white, you are evil.
So then what's the distinction between a white man and a black man? Why would like one man be superior to yet another man would not on the basis of their like race?
Well, because we are not from the same. But I'm talking slowly based on like we don't speak the same language. We're not from the same culture. We're not from the same part of the continent. So of course I would not deem you to be superior to me.
So you're saying that like one's like qualities and attributes and which would make them superior would be dependent upon the socialization of these things, and it doesn't have to do with like intrinsic facts of their character?
It depends actually, because you are.
Do you think that like in the
context
context of like your nation, do you think it could be set up in such a manner where like the women were socialized into being the leaders, what with the men being socialized into being the followers?
I don't know about that. I think if you were like raised under a
You specifically told me that I'm not superior to me due to my socialization of different norms. So therefore, if the men in your own country, right, were socialized to different norms, they wouldn't be superior to you either.
Well, I suppose yes, that's a good point. I will have to admit that that's a very good point. But I think personally, the point that I'm trying to make is if you were raised in my country under my social societal norms, then of course you will be superior to me, irrespective of your race. But I see that you are a feminist man, so to me, I will see you as the bottom of the barrel. No,
you see me as wait 1 second. You see me as the bottom of the barrel because I don't see you as the bottom of the barrel. Do you know how sad that is?
Yeah, thank you. But
you see me as the bottom of the barrel because I don't see you as that.
Do you know what the crazy thing is, Sabrina? That the Siha network is actually an East African company called the Strategic Initiative for Women in the Horn of Africa. It's a feminist regional womankind partner movement that works across Ethiopia, Eritrea, Kenya, Sudan, South Sudan, Somaliland, and Uganda. So it is a feminist network called Siha that works in East Africa. So this idea, again, that feminism doesn't exist within East Africa to address gender-based violence like FGM and other forms of gender-based violence is just absolutely not true, because there are networks which were started by Africans for Africans. Specifically, when we look at the Siha network, when we look at MSF as well, These are movements that specifically work in East Africa, specifically in Ethiopia, actually. So I feel like you're not, as another woman who was Habesha, I feel like you're not giving a full perspective on East Africa. You're making it seem as if what you are saying is representative of all of East Africa or all of Ethiopia, when in fact it isn't. There are active feminist networks working within East Africa. And also, not all women in East Africa are happy with regards to how the systems are created. Like, that's just not true. I can tell you from personal experience within my family as well. Like, my mother was born in 1950 under Italian colonialism. And the ideas that I have today with regards to focusing on my career, focusing on being financially stable, were kind of the way that my mother raised me. And she's an East African woman. She was born and raised in Asmara. So again, you're not giving a full honest representation of East African women. And I kind of think that's sad, not gonna lie.
But it's your opinion, Kove, but I think that's your opinion. I think, anyways, I have to go. It's 6 o'clock. I have to get my husband ready, his breakfast and everything. But I think this had been a very good talk. Although I don't think my
Is your child a girl?
Yes, she said she was a daughter.
Oof.
But why? Why does it matter?
Do you value your daughter?
Of course. Why is what kind of question is that?
If you value your daughter, I hope that maybe while you're preparing breakfast for your daughter, you'll reconsider some of the thoughts in which we shared. And I just want to put it out there. I'd bet there is a chance that in the context of the next 20 to 30 years, there will be more worldwide change in the context of equality, right? These traditionalist gender norms will only fade more. And if you want to have a working relationship with your child when she is your age, you'll change the way you think. All I'm saying.
Or you won't.
If you want your child to love you when she's your age, you'll change the way you think.
She loves me just fine right now. But before I go, I have to apologize, Dean, for saying that you are at the bottom of the barrel. I didn't mean that. I'm sorry. I was a little bit. I don't know, but I think it got to me. I felt a little bit attacked. I think you are a good man.
Contention.
I think you are a good man. I think all of you are good people, but you have been indoctrinated. I believe, and
I don't know.
I wish all of you the best, but I have to quickly get ready before he wakes up.
My empathy indoctrinated me. I
don't know how much indoctrination I can be in when I believe that we ought not to live in a society in which your husband can legally rape you. I'm sorry. I don't think if that makes me a terrible person, call me the fucking Antichrist. Like,
yeah, that was like really sad. That was I'm not angry at her. She's a product of the environment.
Absolutely not. I wouldn't be angry at her. She doesn't.
I think this is precisely why we need feminism. This is why we need feminism, because around the world there are many women who are indoctrinated to think this particular way, to think so lowly of themselves. But also I just wanted to say that wasn't necessarily a good representative of East Africa as a whole. There are multiple feminist movements in East Africa. There are multiple womanist movements as well. They're advocating for East African women, because FGM is downplayed, but it is a huge issue. Gender-based violence is a huge issue as well. And so it's kind of sad. And feminism is not just a Western ideology. I think that on its own is a very colonial way of thinking.
I find it.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say that I find the way a lot of Eastern people, even some people from Jamaica as well, because Jamaica is very conservative. they have this caricature of what a feminist is in their head, and it's really frustrating for me as well. And that's why I was really trying not to be mean, because it's something that I've been dealing with my entire life. But like I don't know what to call it, like a caricature of what they believe feminism to be, and the fact that they themselves do not even realize that they are missing out on life for these values that hold no actual bearing. I don't know how to get through to them. So sorry if I came off as mean, but I don't know how to get through to these types of people other than to just be mean and just give up on them. You know what I mean?
Here's the way I like to think about things, specifically the westernization of feminism and it being viewed as some as a Western concept. I could give an analogy to express how I feel quite well. Let's imagine two petri dishes, right? And we are gonna let bacteria grow on these two petri dishes, but on one of the petri dishes, we are first going to spray it with Lysol, some type of anti-infectant, antibacterial, maybe put some hand sanitizer on it. If we do that, and we take those two petri dishes, it's obvious that on the petri dish with the hand sanitizer, the bacteria will spread much slower. There will be much less bacteria. And the analogy being made, while on the petri dish with no hand sanitizer, there will be much more bacteria, and it will spread faster. And the analogy being made here is in Western cultures, in Eastern cultures, their hand sanitizer is legislation, right? That prevents legal equality in the context of men and women. Their hand sanitizer are social ideals and the pure and utter and complete indoctrination into conformity with them, right? And our clean petri dish is legal equality between men and women for the most part. And our clean petri dish is, the emergence of equality on the basis of gender or sex. And feminism is much easier to culture in our societies in comparison to certain societies in the context of the East. And that's the only reason it's viewed as a Western ideal. It's not because people in the East don't need or want feminism. It's not because people in the East aren't feminists. It's just because it's harder to spread. And I think that's really important to notice as being true.
I think there's also like a very colonial aspect intertwined with this, the idea that only the West stands at the forefront of modern advancement and human development, that it is the West that spearheads human development and advancement. I think that's the issue, because feminism has always existed in the global South. I don't like these terms, the West and the East, because what even is the West and what even is the East? You can start on the world. You can start at any point in the world and just go east, and you can land in the US or you can land in Europe, right? So that's why I use terms like global North and global South. And when we look at countries in the global South, feminism has been very widespread, but we focus only on the global North because of this idea that it's always the global North, which is associated with the West, which is associated with white people. They're the ones who spearhead global human advancement and human development, which is why this is the same issue we have with climate change. Climate rights activists are also mostly only white, even though there are so many climate rights activists in the global South as well. When it comes to any other movement, we always only tend to elevate and amplify voices that we think are associated with the West, which are predominantly white voices. But it doesn't necessarily mean that the global South or people who are not white aren't also at the forefront. And I think with regards to feminism, like if people are interested in post-colonial theory and colonial theory, I'd highly recommend looking at all the freedom, like the liberation movements all across the African continents and how they actively also worked with grassroots feminist movements. I'm not saying Dean disagrees, by the way. I'm just adding on to to what you said. Let me just clarify that.
Oh, I definitely don't disagree. I think saying that a particular group is on the forefront or is on the spearhead or is leading anything, right, is just going to be an antithesis, right, to like the underlying like theme of feminism, right? I think to denote that any one group, right, is doing something better, right, than any other group, or like asserting that there exist people in front and people in back is just antithesis. Antithetical to the purpose of feminism.
I always, but it's guests like that that really make me, because when I don't remember who asked it in particular, but when someone asked them about education, and they said that like women should not go to say like college, right, or they should at the very least get like just like high school education. That's one of the things that that's the thing that I really want to spearhead, is the education, because at some point with the people that we have today, there is no actual saving them. Some of them are going to be too far gone, and are too rigid in their beliefs to actually change something. But I feel like it is the education that we need to keep pushing and raise the overall academic standards for ourselves and the people around us at all times. Because I feel like at this point, that's the only thing that is going to, benefit our society. I was just telling someone else in my live today, when he asked me like, what do you say that we should do to actually lead to changes like socially, and I said, you're not always going to be able to get to the people of the older generation, but what we should do as the generation who exists today is that when we go and we may reproduce, or we may people that are younger than us, it is on us and it is our duty to bestow any kind of deconstruction of like particular views or any kind of wisdom that we have, right, and teach the people who are younger than us and in the next generation that's going to come up after us about the things that we've learned, about the skills that we have. And I feel like that's what's actually going to lead to this overall betterment of society all around the world. But yeah, like I'm sad. I'm really sad. That made me sad.
Yeah, it is sad, but all I know is I definitely know that no man is superior to me. So actually, a lot of the men who come on this app, especially
Thank you,
on
Taylor.
real life,
I'm so sorry, Athena. Continue.
no, it's okay. A lot of these men who come up on this live trying to claim superiority always end up being intellectually inferior in comparison to me. So it's just a joke at this point.
Yep. Never met a smart one.
No, literally, I've never met a smart man who says that they're superior.
They always scream so loud. Nothing up here. Nothing up here.
It's like they're trying to convince themselves. To the person saying this is Islam, no, it's not. Let's take your Islamophobia elsewhere. It's not Islam. And also, with regards to Ethiopia, I know I'm gonna drop. You probably want to let up your other guests, Dean. But
we're just chilling. We're just chilling at this point, Athena.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
No, with regards to Ethiopia, people need to understand. A lot of people like to say Ethiopia was never colonized. It was. It might not have been physically actively colonized by Western European colonial empires. It was colonized by Christianity, though.